Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA, and today I'm here with Chris and Chris's badass C10. And this I think is going to be important to add into this. You're an engineer.
Correct. I spent a lot of time working on hot rod BMWs, probably 18 years at one company and another 10 years before that.
The reason I wanted to bring that in is I think it's important that, because when we talked about your truck, that your goal with this was to make it handle better than your significantly built E46 that's already a great handling car. So the idea of that a big bulky C10 could potentially even be in the same conversation of that. I'm so curious to hear what you've done to this truck.
So I started with a no limit chassis.
Okay.
Right, worked with Rob out there at No Limit. He's been doing autocrossing for a long time. He's won championships. So we built the truck up, then we modified the front control arms a little bit more, modified the front sway bars, spring packages, and things working really well now. Ended up putting C6 Z06 brake package on it, right? So it's not your typical Willwood, so it looks a little bit different. I'm a really big fan of OE parts as much as possible.
Got it, okay.
The amount of time and engineering that goes into designing production parts, especially for the Corvettes, the Camaros, the Mustangs, the Vipers.
Sure.
Those are radical parts and they work really well. So why not take advantage of that engineering and slap it on a hot rod?
Right.
Yeah, so that's how we got the handling sorted out. The weight distribution on the truck's about 52 front, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
The truck's down to 3,700 pounds. Still has all the steel on it, so it runs really well.
Yeah.
Right?
Can we pop the hood and see what you've got going motor-wise here?
Absolutely.
God, it's so clean in here too. I love the simplicity of your engine bay right away.
So this is a LS3. It was a crate motor for a replacement Corvette, right?
Okay.
So 410 horsepower motor. But I have a GM Performance controller, which makes 525 horsepower, right? So it starts life as kind of the 525. Then I completely redid the wet sump bottom end on it. So it's got scraper, windage tray, proper pan, proper baffling for handling so I don't have oil starvation. Redid the camshaft, all the valve trains, so titanium retainers, good springs, so the thing can rev up to about 7,500 RPM.
Oh wow, okay.
And then I put a limiter on it of about 71, 72. So I'm never really touching that, but it runs really strong. And then I set the cam timing up that it pulls on the top end, so it doesn't have quite as much torque.
Okay.
Kind of going back to my BMW days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't need
Higher
something that fries
revving.
tires, right?
Yeah.
Once I get out of the hole, I'll use the 411s in the rear end. I'll use the 6-speed for all the torque multiplication that I need, and then I can use all that top end power.
Right.
Right. So
Got
it's
it.
pretty fun to drive.
And so what do you make power-wise with it now?
This is about 600, maybe a tick under, somewhere in that neck of the woods. So close to 500 at the wheels, right? Reasonable. I mean, it's not knock your socks off. It's not, I'm not going to go out and win a dyno war. And that's fine.
I got you.
But out on the street, I can embarrass an awful lot of people.
I'm sure you can. All right, let's check it out on the side here.
Absolutely.
What are the wheels you run on this?
So these are forge lines.
They are forge lines, yep.
So again, 19 by 10s in front, 19 by 12s in back. I'm running Michelin tires, 295s in the front and 345s in back.
Got it.
Again, it's got the Corvette brakes on it, the C6 Z06, right? You know, the truck's pretty understated, right? Nothing's flashy. I went with a silver gray colored caliper. So, you know, when you look at it, it's like,
it's very subtle.
Something's going on there.
Your truck's very subtle.
But yeah, it's not flashy. Right?
No, not at all. But as soon as you pulled up, hearing the sound of it, looking at how it sits, I mean, wheels and stance right away make a vehicle.
Right.
It just sets up the tone for what you're dealing with. Now, what do you run in exhaust-wise? Because I'm such a side exit guy. I really am. Like, I just love, I like seeing it, partially from the cockpit, you get to hear your vehicle a little more. And I like that.
No, I'm the same way. I love the visual look. It's kind of like old school NASCAR.
It is.
Right?
It is.
You know, because like
very
the new school
race car.
NASCAR has like 2 or a full pan out, and I just wanted to go, right? It kind of has that racing vibe, right? Certainly the 60s, early 70s racing vibe, kind of Trans Am thing. But to answer your question, I'm running Ultimate headers, and then I custom built the rest of the exhaust. So it's a 3-inch going into a Flowmaster muffler that I've completely changed the internals of. So everything's custom by me.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I built a lot of race cars. This was really fun building this thing.
Now you've done obviously the bed raised to deal with what's going on underneath, I take it.
That's exactly right. So the frame rails are up below the raised portion. and I'm probably about 1/4 of an inch above the frame rails. I would have really liked to have had probably a 1/2 inch for clearance. The reason I stuck at 1/4 is you have all of these embossings in the factory sheet metal, and I wanted those to still be seen, right? So when you look at it, you could go, it could have been done production-like, right? You don't have this hard line. It still has that radius that follows around.
And what's the rear end you're running in here?
It's a Ford 9-inch, full floater with 411s.
All right, let's go check out your interior here. I love the houndstooth, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that.
My wife
Are those Camaro seats?
No. So this is an awesome story. So 71, 72 Chevy trucks, this was an option where you had that style of console with these buckets. Now, they are the same. They're in the Blazers.
Okay.
But this was an option for the trucks. And then in the earlier trucks, they actually had like a bucket buddy. So it's still a bench seat, but you could turn it into a center console thing.
Yes.
But in this year, 71 and 2, this was correct. So these are 71, 72 Chevy truck Blazer seats.
I love the way you lit it in here.
Yeah, so what I did is I actually added like 4 extra LEDs underneath the footwell, you know, and then obviously you have the light sitting on top so you can actually see what's going on. Other little details that are on here, I mean, kind of left it stock, right? It has that stockish vibe to it. Vibe, because it's not, right? So the gauge cluster is, again, stock looking. Yeah, so they're classic instruments, and I did a bunch of little details where like the tack has a red pointer. That comes back to my BMW days. M3's got red pointers, so my tack was gonna have a red pointer, right? And then I had LED lights in red put behind the tack. So when I hit my shift limit, the whole tack glows red. So I don't have an auxiliary shift light sitting somewhere.
That's really cool.
Right, so it's like one of those things where again, you look at it and it's like, oh, this thing looks pretty clean, pretty stock, but there's all these cool little details that aren't actually there.
Well, dude, I say, since there's not much more that we could talk about here, I want to go for a ride in it, man.
Sounds great, I would love to do
Definitely want to go for a ride.
Yeah, for sure.
Ready for a drive, you guys? Today's episode is being brought to you by the Ridge Wallet, and I love how what you're going to see here is materials we see every day on hot rods. Carbon fiber, forged carbon fiber, aluminum, titanium, materials that we know are built to last a lifetime. That's why these come with a lifetime warranty. If you're interested in buying the Ridge Wallet, go to ridge.com/hotrod. Make sure to use the code HOTROD for your 10% discount and free shipping globally. Yeah, man. That's the way to get it fired up. I love your truck, dude, and I love that you can drive, man. You're a total driver. Yeah. You see what you're doing to me? Like, I can't fake this stuff, man. That's just awesome. I love it. I love how much you can feel it, like it's hooking up,
Right?
but it's also spinning. Like it's trying to get traction.
Exactly. We're accelerating, but the tires just are moving a little bit faster than what the truck can actually do at that moment.
Yep.
Right? And then ride quality. Right? I got the shocks and everything tuned that we're soaking up bumps. Doesn't really beat you up.
It's not horrible stiff at all. It's not even close to horrible stiff where you're, you know.
But I got a 1-inch sway bar. I got 750-pound springs on this thing. But I got the shock valving set up that it doesn't beat you up.
Got it. God, it sounds evil.
The exhaust really does sound good.
Oh man, it sounds evil on the D-cell. so knocked out by how much it grabs.
It's not bad for a truck, is it?
Dude, come on. Impressive.
Not bad for a truck.
Impressive. All right, you guys, that's it for our shoot with our friend Chris Chandler and his wonderful, wonderful C10. I mean, talk about built to drive and a guy that knows how to drive, just completely badass. Hope you guys had a fun time in this episode. You gotta know I had a blast, especially getting a little sideways there. A big thanks for hanging and watching and supporting what we do. I really appreciate it, you guys, and I will see you in the next episode. All right, man, later.